Daring Abroad, brought to you in partnership with Bank Diaspora Banking. Banking just like home.
It's a new month and a new season as Chams Media turns 10, and today we shift our attention to Saudi Arabia as we begin a series that will be focusing on labor issues. And here are the highlights of the first episode of that series.
Kenyan workers represent an important segment in Saudi Arabia.
Understanding Saudi Arabia's labor market.
We today have over 120,000 Kenyan domestic workers. The males are mainly in the private sector.
The opportunities, the regulations, the do's and don'ts.
Maisha Saudi ni sheria.
And what is being done to ensure worker welfare and protection.
We have more than 800 inspectors. We conduct over 1 million field visits.
Plus, the role being played by the Kenyan government back home.
We are in the process of negotiating a higher minimum wage for domestic workers coming from Kenya.
Great. This is gonna be insightful and away from the normal narrative about labor issues in Saudi Arabia. And Michael Simanji is next with the inaugural report.
Saudi Arabia, a land known for oil, numerous deserts and the epicenter of the Islamic faith. It is where Mecca is located, the birthplace of Prophet Muhammad and home to the sacred Kaaba or Makkah, where many Muslims around the world come to perform the Hajj pilgrimage, an obligatory rite in the religion of Islam. The kingdom is located in Western Asia and is the largest country in the Arabian Peninsula. It comprises 13 provinces and currently has a population of about 35 million people. Being a monarchy, the kingdom is led by King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. When it comes to governance, the king, who is also the commander-in-chief of the military, appoints a crown prince to help him with his duties. The crown prince is second in line to the throne. The office is currently held by his son, Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud. The king also governs with the help of a council of ministers, also called the cabinet. There are 22 government ministries that are part of the cabinet. Each ministry specializes in a different part of the government. Furthermore, the king has a legislative body called the Consultative Council or Majlis al-Shura, who serve as advisors. The council proposes new laws and amends existing ones. It consists of 150 members who are appointed by the king for a 4-year term that can be renewed. In addition, each of the 13 provinces also have a governor and deputy governor. The provinces also have their own council that advises the governor and deals with the development of the province. Saudi Arabia's economy is driven by oil and associated industries. It is the largest economy in the Middle East and 8th largest in the entire world. It is also the largest exporter of oil. As a result, the kingdom requires a large workforce to support the demands of such a thriving economy, something that the kingdom is key to grow, according to Adnan Abdullah Al Nuaim, the Deputy Minister of International Affairs, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
International affairs play a vital role more than ever before. We are part of the center of government and represent our government based on national interest-related labor market. So within Vision 2030, the center of government looking forward to keep Saudi labor market one of the top 10 attractive labor markets in the world.
Currently, There are about 15 million foreign workers in Saudi Arabia, with plans to double this number by 2030. And according to Abdulwahab Saad Al-Ghel, the Chief Advisor and General Supervisory Executive for Domestic Workers, Kenya is one of the countries that the Kingdom is key on to provide this much-needed labor.
We want the Kenyan to come here and feel welcome in Saudi Arabia, to work in Saudi Arabia, especially in the domestic worker sector, where there is great opportunities in the domestic worker economically and social.
As a foreign worker in Saudi, you fall into one of two categories. You're either in the private sector, that is those employed by companies, or the domestic sector, that is those employed by individuals.
Steamer for ironing the tops.
Now, how one finds their way into the Saudi labor market is through three-way or four-way contracts between the employee, the employer, private recruitment companies, and external private recruitment offices, that is, agencies. It is no secret that the Kingdom has suffered a series of negative publicity when it comes to workers' rights. The cause? Lack of awareness and misinformation. Here is where the Ministry of Human Resource and Social Development comes in. The ministry is in charge of the welfare of all foreign workers present in the country. Through dedicated government deputyships within the ministry overseeing the private and domestic sectors, the ministry has been addressing emerging issues through well-calculated measures.
There has been continued efforts to improve the relationship between worker and employers, protecting the rights of worker, improving the working condition and environment, and ensuring everyone is treated with respect and dignity.
Yes, worker welfare is the priority of the government, and according to Faisal Saad Al-Fayan, the Assistant Deputy Minister, Labour Affairs, Ministry of Human Resource and Social Development, a key measure is automation and unification of contracts.
Let's start from the contract documentation. Here in Sharjah today we are enabling either the employee and the employer to document their contract among our main platform, which we call it Qiwa. So it is like an electronic system. They can access it and they can document the contract between them in an easy way. It is to protect the right either for the employee and the employer.
Currently, all employment contracts are uploaded on various online government platforms. These include Musaned Portfolio for domestic and COA for private. Khalid Al-Touhi is the CEO of Musaned Portfolio.
Musaned is the one-stop shop for the recruitment of domestic workers. By one-stop shop, I mean it is where you go as a seeker or as an employer wishing to hire a domestic labor, male or female. So you access the system to start the journey. The journey starts there and it ends there as well. The employer needs to have access to the system, of which in the system they can, or he or she can select the type of the or the profession of the domestic labor. Could be a normal housekeeper or cleaner. It could be a chef. It could be a nanny, male and female. You select the country that you desire to recruit from, and after that you select the office or the recruitment office that is based on ratings and reviews. Similar, it's a marketplace, similar to all other marketplaces. Once you select the office, you pay, and this is where you wait for the domestic labor to arrive to the country. We today have over 120,000 Kenyan domestic workers, of which almost 99% are females and the rest are males. The males are mainly in the private sector or the skilled workers. We recruit those domestic laborers from roughly about 400 and plus Kenyan external offices. Each Kenyan recruitment office is linked with a local office.
The process is similar when it comes to the private sector, as shared by Abdul Malik Khawas, Chief Communications Officer, COA.
We have more than 4 million individuals, employees that registered in the platform. So the journey begins where entities issue visas. When an entity issue a visa, we make sure that they are compliant with all the Ministry of Human Resources policies, wage protection, nationalization percentage, work permit activation. And when entities issue a visa, a contract will be sent to the employee before his arrival to the kingdom. An employee can review the contract to approve or reject it. Once the contract is approved, and after his arrival to the kingdom, the entity will provide medical insurance and to have him open a bank account in the kingdom.
Great. With that, we take a short break. When we return, we will highlight how both the government of Kenya and Saudi Arabia are collaborating on labor issues.
Guys, yes! It's bigger and it's better. Bamba Nyumba na AMG Realtors.
We're not giving out just a shamba, we're giving out a shamba with a house. Nyumba.
Isitoshe, we have weekly gift vouchers, a 50 by 100 plot at the end of every month. Let me tell you what you need to do. It is very simple. For every 100,000 Kenya shillings that you're spending with us on any of our properties, you automatically get an entry into the Bamba Nyumba draw and stand a chance to win prize number 1, gift number 2, and number 3. So contact us today.
Own your dream home for as low as 1.98 million Kenya shillings in Vipingo, Kilifi, and enjoy a flexible payment plan of 10% on signing of the letter of offer and the balance in equal monthly installments within 18 months. Supported by world-class amenities and infrastructure, our estates offer a unique, secure environment with a wide range of outdoor facilities. SMS Vipingo to 22365 or call us today on 0740 400 215. Terms and conditions apply.
You're watching Daring Abroad, brought to you in partnership with Corp Bank Diaspora Banking. Banking just like home.
Welcome back. We are in Saudi Arabia understanding labor issues. In part 1 of this show, we focused on how authorities are using technology to regulate the sector, and now we want to look at conflict resolution and much more.
Boulevard, Saudi Arabia. In the first part, we saw how the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is using digital platforms like Musanad Portfolio and COA to safeguard the well-being of their 15 million foreign workers, a measure that helps keep tabs on who is entering the country and their contractual terms. This further assists the government in ensuring workers' rights are observed. Through digitization, complaints from both employer and employees are fast-tracked.
When we talk about the labor dispute, we have the first stage, which we call it friendly settlement. This is now are handling by HRST. And the second one, it is a labor court, which we have a decision over there. And even we have also, which we call it appeal. If any both side would like to appeal in the decision, also they appeal in the labor court. For the friendly settlement today, we are enabling the employee and the employer to access our main system, which we call it WIDDI. It is 100% automated system. So they can access it and they can find around 50 subjects. So let's say, for example, today I'm employee and I did not have my salary. So I access WIDDI, then I select, for example, I did not get my salary. Once you select this subject, it will show him what the labor law include about the salary. So once he raised the complaint, right away, our team, they receive it. We review it and we make sure everything is completed. Then we send an SMS for both sides, for the employee and the employer. It has a link for the session. So we will do, which we call it a web session. It is online between both sides. We try to solve it in a friendly way in the first session. In case we did not solve it in the first session, we ask for another session. Alhamdulillah, 75% we solve it in a friendly way. Also, it doesn't take more than, let's say the average, it's around 15 days from the beginning until the end.
So, With all this being implemented over the past couple of years, why do we still hear cases of worker neglect from the region? Well, this has majorly to do with foreign workers operating outside the system, as explained by Satam Al-Habi, the Deputy Minister for Inspection and Development of Work Environment at the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Development.
One of the issues that we identified before is some employees working either without a contract or that contract not comply with the labor law. So we started an initiative in 2019 where we required all employers to document the contracts in an electronic website. So we ensure that each employee have an electronic contract that are registered in our website, and that contract is comply with the labor law. In addition to these programs, part of our routine mandate ensuring that employers are compliant to the law, we are using several also tools. One of them is inspection. We have more than 800 inspectors are distributed through the region. We conduct over 1 million field visits where we visit employers to ensure on site that employers are comply with the law, they are providing all the requirements that the employer have to provide for employees and giving the rights for those employees.
These sentiments are echoed by Dr. Hussein Akeli, Chairman of the Board of Directors at Sakan, a housing for troubled domestic workers that helps them get back to their country of origin. According to Dr. Hussein, some foreign workers are duped into running away from their employers and operate on their own with the promise of making more money without realizing they are subjecting themselves to abuse, modern-day slavery, and human trafficking.
One of the biggest issues is they feel the most comfortable with people from their own country, but not necessarily their embassy. And they will call people they don't know and will trust them simply because they're from their country. Now, a lot of times these people from their country are good people and are trying to help. But too many times we've seen stories where these are the people that are most likely to abuse them. Because once they get them out of the house they're in, they're stuck. They'll send them a taxi, they come back, they already owe money. After they owe the money, they give them a job, they're illegal, they have nowhere to call, they start taking part of their salary. They say, you owe me. I found you just job. I need a recruitment fee. And the bills keep getting bigger and bigger, and these ladies don't know what to do.
This is why the Saudi government is keen on spreading awareness. Of course, these measures are in partnership with relevant government authorities from Kenya.
We have been working with our partners in Kenya to evaluate and enhance the training materials.
Saudi is a big market. It is the third largest labor market in the world. Similarly, in terms of remittances that we receive from our diaspora, Saudi is number 2 after the United States. 90% of the issues in Riyadh, this is what I observed, originate from Nairobi. And so if we sort the issues here, then Kenyans who are in Riyadh and other parts of Saudi Arabia will be safe in the following manner. We have had to revet agents, and we have insisted on directors of various private recruitment agencies appearing in person before the vetting committee.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has come a long way in the development of human rights laws, policies, and measures, whether relating to expatriates or locals, and with the changing times as they plan on expansion of the economy under their Vision 2030, foreign governments have a huge role to play in the success of the proud nation.
Kenyan workers represent an important segment in Saudi Arabia, so we are working to make sure that their journey reflect a good, memorable period in this country, and we encourage workers, Kenyan workers, to increase their awareness before they came to the country, know their rights, and also know the employer's rights and what's labor law indicate for them. This will also help us in protecting their rights and also work with us to ensure that they have a safe journey and a memorable experience in Saudi Arabia.
Great reporting there by Michael Zimanji. And as the Principal Secretary for Labor told us, there are 90% of issues affecting Kenyans working in Saudi Arabia begin back home. Let us now understand the measures put in place by the Kenyan government.
Back home, powered by Cooperative Bank.
Saudi Arabia is one of the places I really wanted to go as soon as I assumed office here at the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. I went on a mission with my colleague P.S. Kaituko from Labor and the Cabinet Secretary for Labor, with other officials both from the State Department for Diaspora and for Labor, and really went on a fact-finding mission to establish what is actually going on and how can we better support. I learned many interesting things. One of those things is that most Kenyans who are in Saudi Arabia are actually not domestic workers. They're not domestic helpers. They're actually in other areas, professional and other work. So bankers, people in transport, people in IT and so on. You know that one of the mandates of this State Department is to actually find opportunities for Kenyans abroad, whether it is job opportunities or expanding the businesses of diasporians. One of the things that we did shortly after returning from that trip, a joint committee was set up to deal with some of these sticking issues. And that joint committee between Labor Kenya and Labor Saudi has been able to resolve a number of the outstanding issues. So we've worked closely. I've worked closely with the Balozi from the Kingdom here in Kenya, and we've had various conversations about how we can strengthen, support, work better together. One of the things we did is steward a facility that is manned by the Saudi government, where any person having labor complaints can call in, all right? And they walk you through the various ways of reporting, labor concerns that you have, and basically this is how to deal with an employer probably who's abusive, an employer who does not pay you, and that kind of thing. There is a reporting system, and you don't even have to go to a government office, you can call in. So they shared that information, they shared that number. It's a toll-free hotline that we have shared on our social media, and I'm happy to share it with you for Kenyans in distress in Saudi. So we did some of that. We have also done a lot of activism as far as communication is concerned, in terms of what do you do if you are in distress in Saudi? And we've shared that on our social media. We've given contact information. We continue to ask people to actually write to us when they are in distress. Unfortunately, many people will not report to us when there is a concern. They will not email, even though we have given an email address. They will not call the embassy and so on, but are happier to talk about it on social media. But when we step in and say, just call us or write to us or give us the details, they're a bit more slow sort of to come in. So we need a change in attitude so that we have people more willing to work with us, because we are here to help. In terms of payment for domestic work, if we're talking now specifically about domestic work, we are in the process of negotiating a new BLA. And one of the things in the new BLA is actually a higher minimum wage for domestic workers coming from Kenya. So this is one of the things that is ongoing.
Cooperative Bank, we are you.
Amazing information there, and this is just the beginning. We have more to come in subsequent episodes. Always a pleasure having your company, and keep it daring abroad. Tuonane tena next week, inshallah.
Daring Abroad, brought to you in partnership with Coop Bank Diaspora Banking. Banking just like home.